Welcome to Evans. We are having tons of fun here. My name is Ron Thaler. I'd like to thank everybody for coming in and tuning in and having a little sit down with me here. You may have seen me on Evans websites and a whole bunch of other websites and so forth. You probably also have heard me play with Alicia Keys and Ashley Simpson and Taj Mahal, and for you fusion guys, Al Di Meola that is, and Mike Stern. And I actually very recently won a Grammy for, let's call it samples of Ron's drumming on Alicia Keys' No One, which you're hearing on the radio right now. Also, sort of taken on a new job role these days as a record producer. And one of my artists recently, his name is Jason Udoff, got nominated for 4 Grammys in 2008, including Producer of the Year, which was very nice, except, of course, I didn't win because Mr. Ronson won everything, which was very cool for him, and Amy Winehouse, of course. So, in addition, you can see me right now on NBC television alongside the very beautiful Brooke Shields and Kim Raver on a television show named Lipstick Jungle, a group that I co-produced, and the songs of that group are appearing on the show along with an on-camera performance by the band, and it's a recurring role. So as the bass drum head indicated, the name of the group is Project Grand Slam. The show is on NBC TV Thursday nights, 10 p.m. It is called Lipstick Jungle. I want to tell you guys a little bit about the heads that I use on my kit. I have EC2s on the tops of the toms here. Fairly new inclusion in my arsenal. Really dig them. Really dig them actually for live situation. Very controlled, very pointed, with a very nice round sound. I tend to have clear G1s on the bottom of pretty much all the toms I ever use. Snare drum, I tend to use basically just a Genera batter or a G1 coated. I like very thin, and I'm not the biggest fan of muffling pretty much on anything, so I like to keep everything really open and alive, and I like the sound to be controlled in a way by me rather than muffling or external devices of that nature. The bass drum is a thing that I'm very excited about with the EMADs. I can basically have 3 different bass drum sounds at any session that I do instantaneously, and I've actually used that live as well on tour, where my tech will flip out the different foam thicknesses and on occasion just pull them completely out and leave an entirely open sound for me for different songs. It really, really works great. In the studio, of course, I maintain my EMAD combination, which again is super duper quick for changing up bass drum sound. In the studio, as you know, with all the microphones and all the extra cables and so forth, it can become very complicated to change heads and to kind of mess around with the setup that you have. So for me, the EMADs, again, in the studio are brilliant. I tend to use G2s on the top of my heads, on the top of my drums, I should say, and G1s on the bottom. The G2s give a little bit more buoyant, energetic type of a sound. And in those contexts, when I tune my drums, what I'm thinking about is not from my perspective where I'm sitting, but actually from the perspective of the drum and the microphone on it. So when I tune, I'll actually put my head down and put my ear essentially where the microphone would be pointed to make sure that that's the sound that I like. The G2s really tend to accommodate me in pretty much any musical style, recording-wise. So G2s, G1s, EMAD, studio, the EC2s, G1s, and the EMAD for live, and my snares really depends on the snare, but basically Genera or G1s, and usually Hazy 200s on the bottom. Anybody who'd like a little more info about yours truly, you can go to my websites, which is www.ronthaler.com or www.ronthalerproductions.com. And for the Project Grand Slam stuff, and finding out all about NBC, you can go to www.projectgrandslam.com. Woohoo!